Okay, we're going to go ahead and get started. If you can hear us, please. I'm going to try to pull up your email. Go ahead, you can get started.
Okay. Thanks again, everyone, for joining us today. It looks like we've got some limited participation due to the spring break week. Before we get started, we're just going to go around the table here at the Coalition to let you know who's with us today. My name is Scott Stevenson. I'm the Quality Initiatives Director.
I'm Elizabeth Diola. I'm the Chief Program Officer.
I'm Liliana Howard, and I'm the Client Service Specialist for Professional Development and Quality.
Latricia Sims, Chief Operations Officer.
Mary Brewster, Provider Relations.
I'm Sienna McFarlane, Infant, Toddler, and Inclusion Specialist.
And this is Roseanne Fricks. I have the pleasure of serving as your CEO here at the Early Learning Coalition. And once again, I want to thank you for taking time from your schedules today to join us, because I know it is busy all the time right now, but really this week because of spring break, etc. We hope that you're doing okay, adjusting to the time change that took place over the weekend. Nice to have it lighter later, but I don't like it darker earlier in the morning. I was at the office open this morning and it was pretty dark out there. Wasn't even sure I could see the cats, but they found me to get fed.
Aww.
Thank you so much for joining us. I'm going to turn it back over to Scott and let him get on with business. And please remember that if you need something from me, let me know. Ms. Gwen Wilson, if you're there, hello. Special shout out to you. Appreciate the conversation we had the other day.
All right, we're going to go ahead and jump right into our agenda today. Today we put professional development at the top of the agenda. Lily Howard is my quality specialist in professional development, and she's going to go over some of the upcoming professional development opportunities.
On our website, you can still register for our April 10th class. We still have some spots open for CPR and first aid. We have May 8th and June 12th also available. You have the 32nd Annual Early Childhood Conference coming up on March 27th. And we'll have a professional development newsletter coming out real soon with more details. And Scott has a link in the email that he sent out with the agenda.
Bear with me. I'm trying to pull up the agenda or the link.
And it is virtual. The conference is virtual.
Well, I'm having a hard time pulling up the link that was in the email that Scott sent out. But if you have the email that had the agenda to this meeting in it, then you will be able to click on those links that Lily was talking about.
Okay.
There it is. Those are the links that Lily was talking about.
Oh.
March
All right.
27th.
All right, guys.
Good.
Uwadui Lady Lisa Murphy is still going to be the keynote speaker. If you haven't heard of her, then you need to get yourselves registered. It's in the morning from 9 to 1. The Early Learning Coalition is, of course, supporting it. So there's going to be all kinds of goodies and giveaways, I'm sure, that you don't want to miss out on. It is virtual, but the Zoom time is worth it, and you can be in your sweatpants. The CEUs will be available 9 to 3. Let me correct myself. Thank you so much. Love my support system here.
We got you.
So be there or be square.
Yeah. It should be really cool. It's a new way for us to, of course, for everybody. Bear with me. There we go. I couldn't find the question.
Is known for her recipes and her wacky ways of getting the students engaged in the play, being educational.
So you can put something in the chat box about Lisa Murphy.
anybody have any questions about Lisa Murphy?
No.
Have you seen, what do you think? Are you excited?
I can send you a prize if somebody can tell me what her favorite snack is. She talks about it every time she talks about her teacher during her keynote speaker that inspired her, what she did. If you can tell me what her favorite snack is that her loving Miss Molly gave her the first
Miss
day,
Molly. I
the
remember
first day that she was there, that inspired her to be the teacher she is, I have a surprise for you.
Let's see if anybody knows the answer.
First person that can come up with it. All right, moving on. We received notification from Florida Grade Level Reading Campaign is holding a campaign for reading featuring Dr. Paige Pullen from the Lassinger Center. And there's a link for that as well. It's free webinar series on supporting reading instruction. And it has pre-K through third grade. After school staff are encouraged to take part of it. There's summer learning, reading volunteers, paraprofessionals. So it's not just early childcare. If you're in the childcare center and you're tutoring some of these people, some of these children that are doing that are not going to brick and mortar and doing virtual learning, and you want to help them with their reading, this is a great way to get involved and get some pointers. Also, professional development through OEL. We have some new courses that have been available through OEL. If you can go back to the link, the email.
Gonna try.
This is also where you would go to look up about the teacher stipends that are still available. I highly encourage all your teachers to take part in the teacher stipend program.
And just to add something to that with what Lily's saying, there was a moment where they weren't accepting applications for the teacher stipend for a certain particular course anymore. We had pulled it up and it said no longer accepting applications. It was only for a particular course. So it's still worth looking into to see if you can get those stipends.
So the Florida Early Childhood Educator Training Stipends are still available through June 30th. And you'll see that there's some new courses. If you look under professional development links under there, implementing, and I'm having a hard time reading it from this far away.
Implementing the social studies domain in early childhood classrooms.
And scientific inquiry and approaches to learning. And these are all really, really great for you guys to get into, and they're free. They're free. And you will get hours. And so for those of you trying to meet that 12-hour quota for DCF and you need your in-service hours, this is a good way to go.
Let's pause and see if we have any questions real quick. Nope, no questions so far.
Anybody figure out the snack?
Nope, no answer for the snack.
Pepper jack cheese, and
That's good enough.
they still didn't get it?
Nope.
Oh, pepper jack cheese and apples. She loves her spicy cheese and apples.
That sounds like a good combo.
All right, thank you, Lily. Moving on to the next agenda item, we have our partner updates. So as always, if we have partners, community partners on the phone who would like to give us the audience an update, now is your chance.
I'm sorry, hold on 1 second, because I am having some technical difficulties with my computer. It doesn't want to do what I want it to do, much like all of you guys who work with toddlers. There we go. Okay.
Awesome.
Let me see if any friends from DCF, would you like to share anything? I do have one thing that I would like to pull up on the screen to share with you all, even though it's all about DCF, and this is an employment bulletin board. DCF has heard, and I don't see anybody raising their hand to talk, so I'm just making sure. DCF has heard, is listening. They're listening to everybody talking about the difficulties of finding qualified teachers and staff, and they are updating this employment bulletin board. We will follow up with this handout and send it out to you with the follow-up from this meeting. What you can see on the screen, though, is how to post an ad if you're looking for a teacher. And for applicants, those that are looking for employment, there's also information on how to view ads. So we want to share this information as widely as possible. We recognize, the coalition recognizes, the state of Florida recognizes, DCF recognizes the challenges that you all are facing when it comes to finding teachers, and especially with low enrollments. I know a lot of you have shared with me some of the challenges and the fact that you would love to open another classroom if only you had qualified staff. So this is one way that we're trying to help with that piece. And I want to just go down and see if we have any questions. No, okay. No questions so far. Let me just ask you, can you still hear us? Because this isn't like you guys to be this quiet today. Okay, you can still hear me. All right. Thank you. All right, so that's just a piece of information. It doesn't look like, Scott, that we have any partner updates today.
Okay. All right, and looks like you're up next.
I'm up. I just want to share with you all the vaccination. I sent a couple of emails over the past couple weeks. This is one of them. I just want to pull it up on your screen so you can go back and look at March 10th at 12:08. Teachers are now able to get vaccinated, and you count. You are teachers, your staff are teachers. Some of our staff here at the coalition qualified to go in and get the vaccination done. So if you're interested in getting the vaccine, I'm going to encourage you. This email is in the attachments just so that you can go back and look at it. I don't know if the links actually would work. Oh, it looks like they might work. Publix, I had a provider send me an email saying Publix had denied her the opportunity to get the vaccine, even after all the announcements, and the governor's office were really big on pushing it and allowing teachers to get vaccinated. So we just wanted to provide you with a little bit of opportunity to see ways you can support your staff if they're interested in getting the vaccine done. So we have a couple of options for you. I have encouraged, and I heard one provider did take a printout of the actual newspaper article that's there in the link and took it into Publix, and then there was no denying them. On the second page of that email, there's a vaccinefinder.org, and they can help you locate where vaccines are, because some people want a certain type of vaccine, some people want a certain brand for one reason or another, and there's nothing wrong with that, but that can help you find it.
Publix the other day, and they said they'll take a badge, paycheck stub, or letterhead letter from the employer stating that you're employed as a pre-K teacher or toddler teacher at the site.
Perfect.
Yeah, I talked to pharmacists.
And then, like, of course, if you wear a uniform that says it on there, one of our staff went and got their vaccine. They weren't questioned at all because the VPK logo is on our shoulder. So there's just a lot of opportunity. If your staff or you would like to get this vaccine, it's there. That was a really nice win. And somebody just shared, thank you for sharing, Sam's Club called her and offered it to her childcare staff. So Sam's Club is also offering it. Thank you for sharing that, Janice. I appreciate it so much. That is great to know. I'm looking to see if we have any questions or anything else that anybody wants to share on that. And it looks like we're good. I'm gonna go back to the agenda.
Okay. Next on our agenda, we have a spot now. We're going to have an ongoing agenda item specifically related to EFS mod and reimbursement. These are important updates that y'all need to be kept abreast of. So Marcy Easter, our business information director, typically would give you these updates. She is unable to be on the call with us today, but we just wanted to let you know that this is going to be an ongoing agenda item for us in the future.
I think one of the biggest things, though, that you've probably noticed, we are not having, okay, let me test it again, because I just had somebody ask if we're having audio problems. Can you all hear us? I almost said, can you see us? If you could see us and said yes, I would be scared, but okay, so we're not having any audio problems here. So If you are having audio problems, I would encourage you just to log out and then maybe log back in. I know my computer today was giving me some fits, and recently we've had some challenges and opportunities with technology. So you might even have to restart your computer. But we'll still be here, and this is recorded and is available on our YouTube page, usually by the Friday after the meeting is done. But one of the biggest things with the EFS mod and the reimbursement updates is you probably have noticed market rate changes that were into effect. You noticed it with your February payment the payment you received in February. Blah. With that, you probably did notice a slight increase, and I know that we have, sorry, I'm trying to multitask to look at your questions while we're talking. I know some of you are wanting to update your market rates, and that is fine if you want to do that. Just remember, if you do that, it will cause a contract amendment to occur. And Scott and I will be working with all of you to complete one or possibly two contract amendments when it comes to your market rates. It's really, really important when you get those contract amendment pieces from us that we work with you, and that you get you're signing off in the right places, and that your title is director, owner, queen bee, whatever you want to put in there, but it's not your name that goes under title. Because if those things are not done correctly, we have to actually cancel the amendment and reissue it again. These are things that have to go into effect so that we can make sure that your contract reflects your new pay raise. And you're very, very welcome. It's very much earned. This is a statewide implementation to raise rates for all providers across the state of Florida. So we thank you for what you've been doing, and OEL recognizes it. And nationally, the importance of childcare has really come to the forefront this year. So just paying attention to that piece. If you get that contract amendment, please go ahead and complete it as soon as possible. Let me pause for any questions. No questions, just thank yous. So that's awesome.
Great.
Yeah.
All right, we'll move on to the next agenda item with our provider updates. And Elizabeth, looks like you're up first.
This is not news to anybody, but the enrollment in VPK has been low this year. I know that you all recognize that. Here at the coalition, we take that very seriously. We recognize the importance of you having enrollments in your classrooms, because that means a lot of things. Means that you can sustain teachers, it means that you can sustain your business, and it means that you're educating children and getting them ready for kindergarten. That being said, we anticipate summer VPK enrollment to go up. We are doing a lot of things here internally to try to encourage parents to enroll their children. We're making personal phone calls to parents that have not submitted their certificates of eligibility yet. We are, most of you, probably a good majority of you, saw that I sent out a very short survey last Friday. I think it was last Friday. My Fridays are melding together, everybody. Might have been the Friday before, asking, it was just 3 questions. Are you going to offer summer VPK? If not, what's your barrier? And do you have any current openings right now? That's another thing. Michelle Urban in our office, she is our VPK guru with families, and she's getting a lot of questions. Who has openings right now? So while we can't recommend a provider, it's good to know if you have any openings, if you're accepting enrollments right now. We're trying to encourage parents to look at the summer option if they're looking to enroll in VPK, because what happens if they enroll right now into one of your programs that's currently happening? I know none of you said it, but I heard you say, I felt you say it, that they're not going to get the full VPK experience. So I felt it, everybody. So we're trying to encourage, yes, certain families are going to enroll right now. That's just how it's going to be. They have their heart set on it. This is what's going to happen. But I would like to encourage you to think about your options as a provider to offer summer VPK, and also how are you advertising and marketing it out. That's another really big piece. So let me pause for a second, see if we have any questions. I think we have 6 public school sites. I said I was going to pause. I'm a big liar. We have 6 public school sites that are going to be offering VPK this summer. And then we have about 4 private childcare providers that typically offer VPK that are looking to offer it again. So if we have more, that would be fantastic. No questions. Okay. So if you do have questions, or if you're trying to figure out how to staff a summer VPK program, we would love to help you with that. I've already planted the seed with our public school system, which we have an incredible relationship with. Roseanne has honed our relationship with our new superintendent. They are very open to our partnership and working with us. It's amazing. We are really trying to share the wealth, if you will. And if you are looking for a teacher and there is a teacher that teaches VPK in the public school system that might want a summer gig, we might be able to do some matchmaking. So if you're experiencing that issue and that's the only thing holding you back, please don't hesitate to speak up. See if we can help you. Let us try to help you. I'm just going to keep rolling on the agenda. So the next thing is your VPK assessments. It's coming up to that time of year where you may need another a post assessment kit. Remember, you have 30 days before the end of your program to start your post assessments. That's your second assessment for those of you that are not POP providers. It's your third assessment for those of you that are providers on probation or POP providers. So as we're coming up to an end, we're going to start reminding you every meeting. It's time. It's time. If you need another assessment kit, you're going to want to log into Bright Beginnings. Bright, oh, I'm testing myself. I don't want to tell you what it is because it's going to be wrong. Sorry, we just got a comment says, I can take VPK students and see if they can start in the fall. We are, and actually we are taking, right now we're getting phone calls about the fall right now. So we're getting ready to start talking to you about your 21-22 VPK applications. That will be coming shortly. So stay tuned for that. But start looking at those calendars, start planning out, mapping out what your fall program is going to look like for next fall, next school year. It's not too early. We are getting those phone calls and parents are getting more comfortable with the thought of putting their little ones back into a brick and mortar setting, which is your classroom. Okay, we got a question asking about our calendar. Do we have the day that's going to be observed as the January 1st holiday for school readiness? Is it going to be we've been going back and forth because if we recognize it the traditional way, January 1st falls on a Saturday, which means we would celebrate it in December, which changes the number of holidays you end up having in December. If we push it to a holiday for January, that means we would celebrate it the following Monday, which is not our traditional way of doing things. So we haven't made a set decision, but I'll tell you what, we'll go ahead and make that decision over the next week and we'll make sure that you know that. Because that's not a real hard one, but it is one we have to have a discussion about because of it falling in 2 different months. We need to look and see what is going to be the best for all parties involved. So hang tight on that. Thank you for asking that question. So going back to VPK assessments, remember you have 30 days from the end of your program to assess your children on the booklets, and then you have a 15-day window after the end of your program to allow you to enter it into Bright Beginnings. So if you are having a hard time, if you haven't been able to enter all your children into Bright Beginnings, that's really, really, really important. And I'm just going to ask you, let's see if you can tell me, why is it so important that you enter these kids into Bright Beginnings? That's a great answer. It's required. It is required. And unfortunately, if you do not, it is in your contract. If you do not enter these kids into Bright Beginnings, in some instances, we will not be able to enter into a contract with you for VPK for up to 5 years. Please, please, please don't put us in that position, please. Yes, and it does impact your readiness rate. Now this year, let's talk about readiness rates for a minute. And actually, that's a great segue into our next agenda topic. So the readiness rates have been released for Florida, and out of 67 counties, we are number 65. It's very heartbreaking that our children aren't performing on grade level. We have to do some work here. As a community, we have to come together and do some work here. We know 2020 has had a huge impact on learning gains. The impact on our children has been huge, for lack of a better word. Our kids are struggling to come back to grade level performance. I can tell you from my own personal experience, I have struggled with my now 7-year-old who's in first grade with his reading. I'm a professional in this field. I know what to do. I work with him every day. We read all the time. We have story night. I'm always encouraging him to read. We're always pointing out things on the side of the road. We're doing all those things that I know how to do. And this impact is just throughout our community. It's throughout our state. It's huge. So we are taking some steps to make sure that kids are ready to enter kindergarten. We're looking at the kindergarten readiness rates. This year, from 1920 VPK year, there will not be a kindergarten readiness rate released. So the rates that I'm referring to are actually, they're from data that we had, but they're not your VPK readiness rates from last program year. That there's not going to be one. Okay. But this year, from this year, so 2021, there will be a kindergarten readiness rate associated with your VPK and the performance of the children on the Flickr screening. So these are big things. I'm going to pause and see if we have any comments or questions about the kindergarten readiness rate. Basically, I really just want you to know that we are paying attention to the kindergarten readiness rates across the state. We're paying attention to Marion County. We're working with some people. Roseanne has meetings set up to start talking this within our community. You're going to start to hear lots and lots and lots of things about this and how we can support our families and our children. There is the new American Readiness, I'm going to say that wrong, ARP. It's ARP. Thank you. The American Rescue Plan that has lots of money in it. And there's some specific line items just for what they're calling, I think it's the pandemic learning gap or something to that nature. There's actually a term for it now. And so we are going to be bringing this to the forefront. We're going to be talking to you about it more. And you're just going to be inundated with this information.
We're waiting for OEL.
Yep. OEL is going to give us some guidance on next steps with utilizing the funding that is coming down the pipe. But you need to be aware it's coming. And once it comes, it's going to have tight turnaround times probably, where we're asking you to fill out documents so that you can get potentially grant funding. We don't know. We don't know what it looks like yet. So just pay attention, watch your email, make sure you come to these meetings with us. And we'll do everything we can to keep you informed, as we have throughout this entire pandemic and prior, but we're going to keep going with that.
And also, the Office of Early Learning has shared with us that through the American Rescue Plan, we have an additional $1 billion with a B as in boy coming to the state of Florida for childcare. So resources will be available. We're going to count on you to keep in tune with our website, watch things, read your emails, pay attention to when you get notices from us, because it's probably going to be pretty quick turnaround once we have guidelines on what we can do for you with these funds. But $1 billion just for the state of Florida, just for childcare.
This is huge. This is a recognition of the efforts and the needs in our community, in our state, for our kids. There's just a lot. So pay attention, tell your friends, wave a flag. I don't know. Do whatever you got to do to stay focused here. But we'll keep you informed as we learn new things. Scott?
Okay. Good stuff. Next on the agenda, we have on there Family Times Magazine and our CCR and our listing. So for those of you who don't know, Family Times it's a bi-monthly publication here in Ocala. It's been around since 2003. And every year around this time, we publish an article that's several pages. And basically what the article includes is a listing
I'm
of
gonna
all.
pull it up. I'm gonna pull it up for you guys on the screen.
It's a listing of all of our providers in our CCR&R database. So that includes all Marion County providers, whether or not they have a contract with us or not, and all out-of-county providers who are contracted with us. The information for the providers, it's really just the provider names, the address, and the phone numbers. So it's great. I mean, it's free advertising. It's a great resource for families in our community. And we just submitted our listing to them. So in the next issue that they publish, it should be
The April, May.
the April-May issue. It should be published in that edition.
I'm trying to load it. I don't think it's gonna load, but the last year, you see this cute little boy. Yep, Roseanne's holding it up because so that we know. she's letting me know which issue it's in. It's huge. It's like a 8-page spread, something
Yes.
like that.
And we always take a full page ad for VPK, and we did it again this year. There's a lot of things in there focusing on early learning. CCR&R is in there, Success by 6 is in there, as well as the coalition. So there's a lot of good stuff in there, and I'd encourage you to take a look at it.
Yeah, absolutely. And we have an article in this every single, I almost said episode. Every publication has one, has an article. If you have ideas for article topics that you're seeing with families coming into your site, we would love to hear ideas on what we should talk about or what we should write about or work with you on that as well. So look for that. It's coming. Your name's going to be in the book. You're welcome.
All right, next on the agenda, we have ASQ updates, and Sienna's going to talk a little bit about that, and then I'm going to talk a little bit about it, but I'll let Sienna start us out.
Okay. Hello, good afternoon, everyone. I would just like to start with a bit of clarification. I have been getting submissions of ASQ 2 and ASQ 3. So the ASQ 3 is the developmental screening, and that is the one that you are required to do. This is the one that it speaks to the strengths and weaknesses of the children in the 5 areas, mainly communication, fine motor, gross motor, problem solving, and personal social. So if you're doing the ASQ and you're not seeing questions related to any of these 5 areas, the possibility is you're doing the wrong one, right? The ASQ SE2, this one relates to behavior and emotional development. Not that you cannot use it, but that's not the one required. If, however, you're having children with behavioral issues, then that's the one you're to use, the SE2. If you do, send me an email, give me a call, just so that, you know, we can follow up and I know that you did it intentionally, okay? The other thing is, I just like to thank all the providers who received my emails and you responded. You had some outstanding ASQs and you did them promptly. I would just like to give you a big thank you for that.
Air hugs, because we're still social distancing.
However, there are still some persons with outstanding ASQs, and I will be following up with a call or possibly email, so you can look out for that if you're in that category. Just would like to encourage you to go into Blue Jeans, check to see if you have completed all the ASQs on the children that were required. We really don't want to do the next step. But I mean, Scott is going to talk about that, but we really are asking you to try to complete all the ASQs. One of the issues that I have been having is persons have been calling and emailing to say this child or these children are no longer attending the site. And this relates to termination, right? Mary is going to speak to that in a bit and to give you guideline if you have forgotten how to terminate. So I would just like to encourage you, when you see my notifications, just give me a call, send me an email, just do some follow-up to let me know why it is that you're not completing these, so that you can stay compliant and you're not held responsible for children who are no longer at your site. All right, thank you. Mary.
Hello, everyone. I'm so glad you could join us today. I hope that you all are very familiar with the Early Learning Coalition's website. If we have fairly new providers on the line, you can refer to the agenda that came with this meeting invite. Our website is right there at the bottom of the agenda. When you go to our website, in the red bar is the word provider. If you hover on that, you'll get a little menu that says provider resources. When you click on provider resources and scroll down a little ways, you'll see where it says provider how-to, quick tip sheets for providers. And right underneath that, the second item says provider portal user guide. This is your guide to do everything in the portal. And when you click on that and it opens, you will see the table of contents after the cover page. And the table of contents is geared very good so that you can see where it says SR child enrollments, SR child enrollment terminations. And you'll be able to go right to the page to get the directions you need to enter in the enrollment terminations. So then the children will no longer pop up on Sienna's reports. And as always, please feel free to call or email the quality department, and we'll be glad to help you further with those steps. Thank you so much.
Let me just add to, if you're following, I'm trying to follow as Mary's talking. We didn't rehearse this, so it's really that easy to get to it. As she was talking, I was able to just go right to the website, follow her instruction down. Now it is a really big document. It's 153 pages. So the table of contents are fantastic, but I like really quick ways of getting to places. So if you hit Control F on your while you're on your computer, it'll pop up with this little box up here, this little, hold on, I'm trying to show the team too, pop up with this little search box, and you can just type in there enrollment, and it'll take you to every instance of that in the document itself. So you just have to find the right one until it takes you down to the place where you want to be, and it'll kind of get you there quicker. If you type in, if you want to learn how to terminate a child, if you just put terminate, it's going to take you to every instance so that you can really easily get to those sections in this 153-page document that will walk you through those pieces, because that is really, really important that you're able to function throughout this system. And Marcy has done a pretty good job too of putting some how-tos together on our website. So once you see those are all there. Just remember to go back to the coalition website if you need something or you're having a hard time and you're anything like me and it's 3 o'clock in the morning and you're trying to do something, but you know everybody that you need to ask that question to is probably sleeping. Except Roseanne, who's probably doing yoga at 3 o'clock in the morning because she's a morning person. So that stuff is there for you. We do try to add more and more. You see it's growing, the quick tip sheets for providers. It is growing, and there's a lot of different pieces on there. Let me go back and see if we have any questions, everybody, before we move forward. Yeah, add to it, Latricia.
When you are submitting your terminations, if you would also please submit the zero balance ones if the provider, if the parents do not owe a balance. That way it will avoid a lot of confusion. Those are two separate rule requirements. And the zero balance form lets family services know that the parents do not owe a balance and they are able to transfer to another provider.
Let's pause and see if there are any questions. None so far. So you guys are rock stars. You're getting it. You're absorbing all of this information. And this is recorded, so you can go back and listen to it on YouTube if you need to.
So I was going to just add a little bit more about the ASQs, like Sienna said. So as you all know, it is a contractual requirement. So in the event, like what Sienna was saying a couple weeks ago, she sent out notifications to providers who had not met the 45-day requirement. In her notification, she gave a deadline of when things needed to be finished. And we're discovering many of you did, and she gave a big thanks for that. We appreciate that. But some of them are still outstanding. So we've come up with a process as to how to address those issues or those situations when they come up. And really our process is based on what's outlined in your contract. So initially, if you have some that are overdue or outstanding, you'll receive the notification from Sienna. It'll give you a deadline and ask you to please get them done as soon as possible. The next step would be we would issue what's called the corrective action. That too would allow you a little bit more time and give you another deadline. And step 3 would be the possible termination of a school readiness contract. So we don't even like to go there or even talk about that. We don't even think we're going to get to step 1 in about a month because you all are going to do all these within 45 days and everything's going to be good.
We believe in you.
But they do need to get done as soon as you know that the child is enrolled. We encourage you to just get it over with and just do them as quickly as possible. We also understand, like Sienna stated, that sometimes there are good reasons, there are legitimate reasons why an ASQ hasn't been completed on a child, and there are circumstances that are beyond y'all's control. So if we would just ask that you continue to communicate with us about those children. Send Sienna an email, then we have the documentation around, why that situation occurred, and maybe we don't have to hold anyone accountable, we can move on. But if you look, I just wanted to reference for everyone your contracts. If you go in and look at number 17, that's going to outline the provider requirements for ASQs, the child's developmental screenings. And then numbers 64 through 69 go into things like non-compliance and corrective actions and terminations and all that. But it is the language that we're using, and the reason why we're doing this, it is based upon the language and verbiage that's used in your contracts. See if we have any questions about that.
No questions so far. I feel like you're talking to all the providers that have already done it all. So they're like, yeah. We did it. We got it. And you do. You guys are fantastic. Thank you.
Okay, well, super. Next on the agenda, we have our special needs procedure and request form. So some of you may not know, some of you may know, but providers could qualify for an increased rate if their site serves children with special needs. So it looks like Elizabeth has the form pulled up on the screen. You can find this form on our website. It's under providers, and then provider resources, and then it's under school readiness provider documents.
Oops, sorry, my fingers. Where did I find it? Go ahead.
Just a little bit more.
There you go.
It's right there, the fourth one down.
There it is.
So, find my form. So basically, it states to receive a special needs rate in addition to the base rate, it must be requested by the provider and approved by the coalition. A special needs rate shall be reimbursed for a school readiness child that has a documented physical, mental, emotional, or behavioral condition that requires a higher level of care in the child care setting. The special need child's condition must be validated by a licensed health, mental health, education, or social service professional other than the child's parent or person employed by the child care provider. So when you're submitting this document, it's pretty simple to fill out. It's just a 2-pager. It's important that you specify in your request how that special needs child is adding additional work or a hardship to your site. And that is provided there at the top of page 2 is where that would be added. I've been here at the coalition going on 2 years. I've only seen maybe 2 of these. I think we only have 1 right now that of a provider who is actually receiving this increased rate. So we don't have many. So I would encourage you, in the event that you think you have a special needs child that qualifies, just call me directly and we can discuss it. But the first step would be to fill out this form.
So with this, let me just add to what Scott's saying to you. And the reason we're bringing this up is because it might be a best kept secret here. This form is, this is how we are allowed to pay you. Some of you might remember from years and years and years ago, the parent used to be able to just submit something showing that their child has special need, and boom, you'd automatically receive that rate. The rules have changed a little bit over the years, and now you are required to show how their what the requirement is. So if you notice the top of the second page, it gives you an example of how to fill it out. One of the things that recently we got an application, and recently we did have to deny it because a third party was coming in to provide therapy services to a child. Because there was no additional services provided by the provider, they were just letting this third party come in and do the therapy on site. We were not able to approve that because there was no additional hardship or no additional work that had to be done to allow that to happen. Now, had that provider put in there, I had to create a special workplace for this therapy to occur. I had to do something else. I have to have a second staff member with the therapist so that ratio is met. You know, whatever it is that is causing that additional need for additional funding for that child, that's what really needs to be highlighted here on the second page. And the child does have to have a diagnosis or an IEP from a professional. Let's pause and see if we have any questions. Okay, the question is this in addition to the private pay tuition cost, or does it cover their tuition cost? Are you, okay, so Kelly, can you elaborate a little bit more on your question? This is basically this child, if you were to apply for a special needs rate, our special needs rate is the infant rate. That's the market rate that we recognize for special needs services. So it just means if you have, let's say, a school ager and you get approved for the special needs rate, the parent fee wouldn't change. It would be the market rate we pay you would change. So you would get reimbursed at a higher rate. The parent would continue to pay their same parent fee. I hope that I answered that question the right way. The second question we have, what is the age limit on special needs kids? So it would be up until they turn 13, because that is the highest we can go with school readiness services. So once the child on their 13th birthday, they would no longer qualify for services. We would have to stop it at that point. They also have to have, Latricia just reminded me, they have to have an active IEP as well. So that has to be something in place. We do collect that. If you apply for this, we do ask you to submit that too. The parents cannot send them to us directly. They have to come from the child care provider. So it falls completely in your hands to request the special needs rate. Okay, I think I answered all those questions. We don't have any other questions right now. Okay. And of course, if you have questions, you can get this form on the website. I'm sorry, Scott, I cut you off. Go ahead.
Just going to go on to the next and last bullet there. So this is titled ELCMC templates. So the first one is private pay rate sheet. So everyone, all the providers know that they are required to upload into their provider profile a private pay rate sheet in the Documents tab. This is the form that you would include typically in your handbook for parents to share what your private pay rates are. With over 120 providers, what we're finding is that everyone's template that they're using to make it their own is very different. Some are including things that don't need to be included. Some are excluding very important things. So as we mentioned at the recent provider orientations, we want to implement a universal form. It's going to make it really easier for our monitoring process, approving your provider profiles, and hopefully saving everyone time so that we're not asking you to revise your current private pay rate sheet. The way that we are developing this form is it's going to look very similar, if not identical, to the way your private pay rates look in your portal. So all forms for all providers are going to look the same. There shouldn't be any confusion really as to what's now expected on your private pay rate sheet, because really you're just going to be filling in the blanks just as you are when you go into your portal. We plan to have this for you no later than next Tuesday, so you will be receiving a finalized copy of this by next Tuesday.
And some of you, that's the last piece you're waiting for before you submit your 21-22 provider profile. So that's good. That'll let you finish that. We just got an excellent from somebody. So awesome. The other form we are going to be coming out with also by next Tuesday, the 23rd, is a template for sign in and out sheet. We know every single one of you use a different sign in and out sheet for your school readiness providers versus your private pay providers. We need to capture the same information in the same way from all of our contracted childcare providers for school readiness. It helps on multiple levels. It allows us to reconcile any kind of discrepancy we have with enrollment easier. It allows us to really see who is in attendance. And it definitely will help to have the same sheet across the board. If a parent transfers from Scott's site to Latricia's site, then they're going to see the same sign in and out sheet. So it will help just solidify our professionalism in our community with early childhood. And if you are using an electronic sign in and out sheet, you will not be required to use this template unless it goes down. There's always a need for a backup plan, just saying. But if you are using your own template for a sign in and out sheet, we will be coming out with one that is going to be required for our school readiness providers that are contracted with us. We will also send it to our out of county providers. You'll have access to it. If it is a hardship for you to print out your own sign in and out sheets, you can contact our quality department. We will give you copies of it so that you have it. So you'll have it electronically and you'll have it like a fillable version electronically that you can print on site, or you can make arrangements to come and pick up next time you come visit our office. You can come pick up a stack of sign in and out sheets, and that way it will not be a hardship on you to print them out. We even have the capability of 3-hole punching them for you if you want. They will not be, what they're going to look like is that you will have one child per page. Some of you right now are currently having parents sign the same sheet of paper for every single child. That is a nightmare when it comes to reconciling attendance. So it's probably a nightmare for you too. It's just the way you've always done it. Or some of you really love it and you're going to hate this new process of having 1 page per child. But really the cleanliness of your records by switching over to this format and allowing us to have the same for everybody is going to really provide clean data, and it's going to look pretty and it's going to be nice. And let me pause to see if we have any questions. Okay, you know I can't hold my pauses very long. So no questions for that. One thing I do want to tell you that we were able to kick off. I know the team is in here giggling at me because my OCD kicks in. I just can't be quiet. I know you have kids like that. We were just successful in kicking off our infant basic needs program. So if you have families that are working with a caseworker or working with an entity like us, school readiness families that have infants or are expecting, we have a great package where we have diapers available, we have wipes available, we have formula, we have a basic needs baby bag. That's the coolest bag ever, by the way. It has lots of pockets and lots of stashing places. And those of you that mamas and daddies, do you know how important that is to be able to shove things in random pockets? But we have safety kits for baby proofing homes. We have bottles. We have, what do we have? We have baby bum cream. What is it? Thermometers. Yes, we have thermometers. We have safety kits. We have gas drops because nobody wants a gassy baby. Baby wipes, diapers. So if you have a family that is in need, have them reach out to their counselor here at the in our family services department, and we can get a referral done for them. We can make arrangements to bring it out to your site, just like you've seen some of our staff recently bringing other incentives out. I think that is it. So that's available now, and it is very limited quantities. When is the next meeting for 2021 contracts? That's a you question.
We haven't decided a specific date as of yet. That is to come. So we'll be releasing those dates soon.
So more to come on that. Just pay attention to the follow-up. In our follow-up email, we can send the dates for the next orientation sessions. We just got a question about the SignInOut sheets. It says our finance program prints out our sheets with the names already on them. Can we no longer use this? We will send you the electronic version of it so that your finance department can add the names to it for you. But you're correct. We will need you to switch over to using this template. Can we send in our sign-in, sign-out sheets and see if it's a good template for everybody? We already have it designed, so I thank you for that option. But unfortunately, if we did that for you, we would have to accept submissions from everybody and then try to make a decision as to whose was the best. And well, we don't want sibling rivalry. So we're going to go with our created template, which other coalitions are also using. So we're going to.
Certain things in rule that we are required to monitor, to look for on the SignInOut sheet.
And the question just said, when will this take effect? So once we release the template, we will decide, and it'll start at the beginning of the month. So we're releasing the template on March 23rd. We will probably have it start April 1st. Why? April 1st. Okay, so let me see here. Make sure we're covering all the questions. Are there any funds for reimbursement of technology for the classroom? So right now, there's nothing specifically allocated to that. We do have some iPads that are supposed to be going out to providers that participated in a program we had last fiscal year for those that are doing child assessments. With the new money that's coming down, there may be some money in there for technology for classrooms. We don't know though. We're not sure. So stay tuned, more to come. I feel like there probably will be when reading through some of this information coming, but nothing has been decided yet. We have about 2 minutes left for any additional questions. Team, do you have anything you want to add?
Sienna here again, just to add that if you have any questions, if you're having any difficulties getting into your portal, the ASQ portal, you can give me a call or send me an email. I can assist you with getting your username or password or anything like that if you have any questions.
If you're having a hard time getting a kid enrolled in Brooks,
Yes. I'm available. Thank you.
And she's awesome. Okay, well, it looks like we are good to go. Everybody have a safe week. Remember, COVID is still alive and well, so practice social distancing, continue with your air hugs and your elbow bumps from 6 feet apart. And have a safe, enjoy spring break for those of you that are on it. And you're so welcome. We love you guys, and we thank you for your patience as well. Have a great day. Bye.
Bye-bye.
So that I can deal with